Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm here with yet another video just exposing and bringing some awareness to what people you may encounter as you are making your decision to leave that cult or spiritually abusive environment. Who will reach out to you to still try to communicate with you and or continue a relationship with you. And this one I call pretend friends, right? And so this is not to bash any relationships that you may have made. And this is also not even to say that these people hate you or anything like that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's how it was even in my experience. But I want to be able to bring awareness to this so that you can be aware and be careful, I guess really is the word I'm looking for, about what potential roadblock this could provide for you as you are trying to leave this environment and trying to just rediscover and find out where to go from here and to actually be set on right spiritual foundation, or just in general your life goals. Like, what is your foundation for the things that you just have for the future? So I called this segment Pretend Friends, and basically these are the people who who you probably were even close to, or had some sort of camaraderie with while you were in the organization that you were in. They're the ones who are playing the sympathy card with you. Maybe you have explained yourself to them and they understand you on every point. And yet they're the ones who stayed and you're the one who has made the decision to leave. And so some of these folks might, ask you to hang out and things like that. And again, this is not inherently bad. However, the danger of this is that some of these folks are plants on assignment, right? So some of them are just like they don't mean harm or whatever. They're just trying to figure out what's going on with them, but they also want to still have a relationship with you because you were a good friend to them, and they liked hanging out with you as well, right? So this one is really hard because these may be people that, when you were feeling down, they were there for you. When like you were there to pray with them, whatever. You know what I mean? There was a good even exchange. You know what I mean? Like there was, you bonded. And so this one can be hard. But the danger of this is that the cult itself may have taught you something along the lines of, this is the place of faith. This is where the believers truly are. And as I've spoken about in previous videos, how there's an us versus them dynamic. So because they believe, okay, this is the correct environment, and they've kind of shut out the outside world, the thing is that if you, now coming from their world, now goes to the outside, you become the them, right? And so this is very problematic because in the back of their mind, as they're hanging out with you, they may be thinking, oh, this person is in spiritual danger, or this person is not saved anymore. And it doesn't even matter if you have actually let it be known that you didn't let go of your faith in God, or maybe if you kind of are now in a place of confusion, like you want to still pursue God, but you have reservations now, whatever it might be. They have certain dispositions already because that is what the cult has been able to kind of program everyone into thinking. So this is why you have to be super duper careful with this. And so within these people that may still want to have connection with you and speak with you, there are those that perhaps they have enough proximity to that leadership table, as I mentioned before, and they're just wanting to loop you back into it. And then others are doing it more so. It's not good overall because you don't want to get looped back into the cult, but there's others that feel like because you are actually spiritually in danger, they actually believe that. They're thinking, let me try to take my time and still continue a friendship with this person as a way to loop them back in, right? So though it might be a kind gesture, they're going to the movies with you, you still have the invite to their house, all the stuff y'all used to do, right? They're still in the back of their mind, let me stick in there with them, and they're willing to play the long game, to show you and to prove to you that their love. And so it's kind of like that constant reminder, and then you over time can get swayed and think to yourself, did I need to go? And quite frankly, what makes this transition very hard in general is that you get so enmeshed within the cult, and so then when you leave, like, everything's just different now, you know what I mean? And so life can arguably get harder when you leave. And so if you have that person who's constantly with you, you might forget why you even left in the first place, see that life was turning up, and then end up going back in, and then the cycle will repeat itself. So my personal recommendation to you is probably not to engage too much with these people. Again, not that they're bad, but it's just one of those things that could trick you out of your decision, which was the right decision to actually leave. And the things that I'm saying, it's a real thing. Like, I'm just here to tell you, I'm snitching because I was on the other side before, right? I used to see people go, and I used to hear and know about these conversations when it was saying, oh, how is so-and-so doing? Oh, yeah, I was getting time with so-and-so, and like, I'm praying for her and I'm praying for him and da-da-da. Like, so literally this is like, I'm just giving y'all the playbook real quick. And so it's really hard to think about it that way, because you're just like, man, like, I thought these people loved me. And again, I'm not even going to say that they don't. I cannot confidently say that, but they have allegiances. And so that this friend is kind of like a double agent, because they're not willing to part with you, but they're also not willing to part with this cult either. So it's kind of, so they're the middle person for that. So that's why you have to be aware, and make sure that you are careful with this. Another group of people I want to actually add on to this is the person I call the tea sipper. And so this is a person who is probably more of an acquaintance to you, but all of a sudden you're getting calls and you're getting texts from this person saying that they noticed that you weren't there. They already heard about what happened to you. They just want tea. They want something to talk about, whatever. And it's just like, again, I think that some of these people, perhaps it somewhat makes sense for them to say that, oh yeah, I didn't see you, or they miss you. But but in my experience, what I can tell you about this particular group of people is that the way that they texted me is almost as if they were super duper close to me, and it didn't really, so there was a group of people like, oh, well, I miss you. I miss your fellowship and whatever. I'm just like, you didn't actually really hang out with me like that. So I'm like, so yeah, you're kind of fishy. So they want to know what's going on. There's just people who just want to know what's going on. They want to be in the know. And so, I'll leave that to you to kind of vet between who's the person where it makes sense for them to actually be concerned and ask, hey, how you doing, and want to connect with you, versus, the other person who kind of sort of knows you and might hang out with you and talk with you here and there, and then all of a sudden they want to act like y'all was boys. They weren't. And it's just, so it's like, so either way, I would be very, very careful and vet this very, very carefully. So again, I'm not telling you to do something or not do it. If you ask my opinion, I would say I probably wouldn't have the conversation, or I'd make the conversation very, very minimal, but those might be potential ties in the future to cut, because again, if this is a cult, if you know that they're spiritually abusive and you know that basically they are participating in the system, then it begs the question that it's a question that you have to ask yourself about, do I even want to get involved or still be attached to people who would condone certain behavior? Because again, like I mentioned, these are people who said that they said that they understand you, and they see where you're coming from. So if they haven't arrived at the same decision that you have, seeing the injustices, that they've seen, or being in the know of all the evils, or, just the control and things that just should not be, but they haven't moved, then it's kind of a question that you need to ask yourself about if these are the right company to keep. So, and I would say also too, in this process, while you're trying to navigate this, definitely give them some grace, and forgive them, because I do know and I understand that they're under pressure, right? They have their reasons for being there, just as you had your reasons for staying as long as you did. And so it's a lot for them to sacrifice, as well. I mean, moralities aside, I do understand the pressures that they might be feeling, and them sticking around with the cult, but then also wanting to stick with you is probably just a makeshift something that they're trying to slap together to maintain something. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying that it makes a lot of sense. And so in this process, definitely have some grace with everybody. But yeah, I these are also people that I think that are in question that you might want to either part with, or severely limit your time in communication with. So yeah, that is it for this video. This is the second set of the second category of people that you may encounter that might want to reach out to you. So let me know if that all makes sense in the comments. If you have questions, per usual, send me a comment, send me an email. My socials are in the description box, per usual, if you want to connect, and you need any sort of advice of any sort. But yeah, that concludes that. Think about these things, think about the trap. I know it's hard. I don't want you to feel so tense about it, but it's really something that you want to be very, very careful, so that you can make sure that when you go out, you can stay out and you can move forward to your new foundation, and just being able to thrive and live as you'd like to, authentically, and expressing your faith authentically as well. So we'll catch you on the next one, and take care for now.